what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Solar Systems, where we help you understand the system your soul goes into. This is Moon Days with Michael. I'm your host of Road Triangle Michael, and I am cutting out the esoteric middleman and giving you the tools you need to connect yourself right to the source. And welcome back to the masterclass chair, where we're talking about the Orion constellation in this masterclass, because that's what we do. So we're talking about Mintaka, the upper star of the Orion's belt. Now you guys know the drill. We're talking about its placement, its orb, its influence, its nature, its fortune, and basically giving you a summary of what it means to have this place in your chart. So without any further ado, because you guys already know the breakdown, Mintaka can be found in 2230 degrees of Gemini at this time. It has an orb of 210. Whoa, crazy, right? Now, it has the nature of Saturn and Mercury. Now, to understand its nature, you got to understand the influence, and to understand the influence, you have to understand the fortune, but to understand the fortune, you got to understand the influence, which is an understanding of the nature.
What the hell are you talking about?
So, let's start talking about Mintaka's influence. Now, for whatever reason, there seems to be a lot of praise and attention around Mintaka, even though it's not necessarily always a good thing, because Mintaka can be very fortunate, but it can also be very destructive. And the way Mintaka goes about its destruction is with the tongue, right? It has a Saturn and Mercury nature for a reason. So people with this placement can often tend to become liars, thieves, start talking about people behind their backs.
Wow, drama time!
However, this can be very fortunate. It's a very fortunate placement. But how can it be very fortunate if, the people who have this energy can turn out to be, liars, thieves, and such? Well, what you have to understand is in the way that this happens. So, Mintaka is very combative with the tongue, right? Very communicative, very talkative, even more so than Al-Nalam.
Yeah, taste this, we taste it, blah, blah, blah.
Which is the one we just talked about. But what you have to understand is that because this has a much more focus on communication and being combative with the tongue, what happens is that eventually, if you're not careful, this can take a more physical turn. And the way that this happened is getting lost into a cause. This is equivalent to people saying, like, religion, right? Oh, if I just stick with this, religion and faith, the suffering down here will be worth it in heaven. And, obviously that's a lie. But this is what can happen with Mintaka's influence if you're not careful. If you become too focused on a cause, start acting out, combative nature physically, which, let's be real, the Orion constellation may or may not have a problem with, which I will not confirm nor deny, because I made it. Anyway, and this is really where the negative aspects can come into play, right? Because once this takes a hold of you and sinks its fangs into you, it's not going to let go, right? And you're going to have a hard time shaking off this energetic influence of where your mindset is kind of gone, you got tunnel vision, and it's just, I need to do this because it'll make this worth it. And that's not necessarily the case. This is where the bad fortune starts to come in. This is where it kind of ruins your life, right? But the good side of Mintaka is that it's very communicative and can be very fortunate. Now, the best way to kind of sum up Mintaka is it's like a politician, right? Kind of lying to get what they want, spreading the truth a little bit, creating a couple white lies here and there, just to kind of put everyone at ease, make some money, and have everybody calm the hell down, right? Now, obviously, we all hate politicians, but this is kind of how Mintaka plays out. If you have this placement and you know someone with this placement, now you kind of understand what is going on, where you think there might be planning something behind your back. It's because typically, with this energy, it's very easy to, tell a little white lie here and there. And this can lead you, obviously, getting into trouble, which is where the awareness of understanding how this energy plays out and works comes into play. But with that being said, Mintaka can still be very fortunate. And for some reason, there seems to be a lot of praise around Mintaka, which I don't necessarily understand, because even though it can be good, it can also be just as bad, if not worse. Mintaka pretty much just gets a lot of praise because the star is quite beautiful, right? And the beings living there kind of live in a very watery but airy environment. It's like a less dense version of water, but they live underwater, and it's a pretty cool place. Anyway, but people often think that, Mintaka is very, very fortunate and the people there are good. And while that is, for the most part pretty true, experiencing the energy of Mintaka here can often lead people to lie, steal, and eventually die for a cause that they shouldn't be dying for. But at the same time, if you're able to get around that, Mintaka can actually be very fortunate, especially if you focus on the aspects of being very good at communication and relating to other people. Then you can obviously turn this into a weapon or a tool of bringing you mass fortune, as well as helping other people kind of ascend and realize that the world we're living in is kind of bullshit. But yeah, that's Mintaka, the belt. That's what Mintaka means. It's literally the belt of the Orion constellation. But yeah, so just a little quick recap. Its position in its orb, its nature's over there, and is it fortunate or not? Yes and no. Depends on you. That's just how influences work. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Stay tuned for the next episode where we're finishing off Orion's belt by talking about Mintaka. It's over there. Anyway, but yeah, that's the last star on the Orion's belt before we move on to some other star that I have left. I don't even remember how many of these left. Like 7? I don't know. Numbers over there. Let's see if I'm right. My guess is 7. I have 7 left, but I could be wrong. We'll find out. Yeah, if you guys would like to request a reading, email us down below, readingthesolarsystems.org. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of that. Leave us a comment. What do you guys want us to talk about? What kind of influences do you want to hear about? And obviously, to keep up to date with Everyday's Energy every day on the daily, check out our Instagram, Boom Solar Systems, for Boom, the daily alignments. And there you have it. Fly high, y'all.